Hi guys, welcome to WeLoveBetting. I'm Jim Knight. I'm the team goals tipster here at WeLoveBetting. I'm going to be running through three more tips for you for this weekend's Football League action, backing teams to score over 1.5 goals in their respective matches. The first game we're going to look at this weekend is Shrewsbury against Brentford from League One. This sees the team who are top of the form table in Brentford visit Shrewsbury at New Meadow, who are bottom of the form table if you take the last 8 games into account. Granted, Shrewsbury have had a tough run of form of late, a tough run of fixtures in that bad run, but they're coming up against arguably the best side in the division, I think, this year, and they could really struggle to contain what is a quite expansive, highly dynamic and pacey Brentford team, and one that have caused plenty of better teams than Shrewsbury plenty of problems this season. Graham Turner left after Shrewsbury were beaten 3-0 by Rotherham a couple of weeks ago. Prior to that, they conceded 2 against Milton Keynes and Leyton Orient. And Mike Jackson took over. He fancies a go at the job full time. He said he's been given 3 games to prove himself. The midweek game against Colchester was called off this week, so that was an unfortunate postponement. But I think this weekend he could be onto a bit of a loser, taking his Shrewsbury side to New Meadow to face Brentford, because Brentford have been in prolific form of late. Uwe Rosler leaving to go to Wigan a few months back now, a couple of months back, didn't actually derail the promotion charge too much. Mark Warburton took over. He's continued their kind of attacking style of football, and they've been causing plenty of teams plenty of problems and scoring plenty of goals, which is always an encouraging sign when you're looking at a bet like this. You want to find teams that considerably, more often than not, cover that 2 goals line. Or at least find a reason why they could do in this fixture. And I think we've got both sides of that argument here. So Shrewsbury have conceded 2 or more in their last 4. They've got a pretty poor home record. They haven't won in 6 now, and they haven't scored in 5 of those. So there's nothing to fear really here if you're a Bees fan or a Bees backer at least. The Brentford firepower is pretty special for this division. You've got Alan Judge, who's come in on loan from Blackburn and scored on his debut when he won 3-1 in midweek. You've also got Clayton Donaldson and Marcello Trotta, the former Fulham man who missed that infamous penalty against Doncaster at the last game of the normal season last year, which just kept Brentford out of the automatic the automatic promotion places, which is a real blow. But he's come back. He says he's got some demons to bury this year, and he's been in solid goal scoring form. So Brentford, as I say, have been firing well of late. They've scored 2 or more in 7 of their last 8 games in League One. Granted, a lot of those games have been at Griffin Park, just a bit of a quirk in the fixture list. But there's no reason why they can't keep that run going. And games against the bottom 6 this year, home and away, they've played 7, won 6, drawn none, lost 1. So they do pretty well against the bottom sides, and I think there's a good price on offer here for them to score 2 or more against Shrewsbury. The price is 17 to 20. And I think that offers plenty of value considering the stats and the relative abilities of both teams. Flick over my notes here. The next one is a bigger price. So we had a couple of bigger price picks last week, and I will occasionally try and find one that I think stands out in terms of the odds on offer and the likely probability. I'm not against supporting an underdog in a game if I think they can score 2 or more, and I think this is one of those situations. The game is Peterborough against Colchester. Now, Peterborough were on a fantastic run at the beginning of the season. They were the early season pace setters, and they looked like they could, automatically be promoted quite easily and maybe set another new goal scoring and points total for this division. I don't really know what's happened to them recently. They've fallen away like a stone. If you look at the last 9 games, they've in all competitions they've won 2, drawn 1, which is in the cup against Kidderminster Harriers, the non-league side, and lost 6. So it's been a real defensive issue with Peterborough. They've been leaking plenty of goals. They've conceded a total of 22 now in that time, the last 9 games, which is obviously more than an average of 2 a game, which is what we'd need to land this bet. And they've now leaked 40 goals this season. That's more than 2 teams in the bottom 4. So it's only their superior firepower that's keeping them up there. And even that at the moment isn't proving enough on a regular enough basis to get Darren Ferguson out of the trouble that he's in. There's a real lack of confidence, I think, in the squad after the recent poor displays. Darren Ferguson Darren Ferguson, should I say, has been given a vote of confidence twice now by Darren McAnthony, but he's refused to speak to the media a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, particularly after defeats. The strain here on the London Road club, and I think even though they are at home against Colchester, Colchester could cause them some serious problems here. They've already beaten them this season. Colchester have already beaten Peterborough at home, so that's a confidence booster, and it's something I like to look for in these bets. If the team has already beaten the opposition earlier in the season, I think that always gives a good confidence boost. They're on a good goal scoring form of late as well, Colchester. So it's 14 goals they've scored in their last 6. Sanchez Watt has been a man which has really kind of inspired some of that goal scoring form, especially in the last 3 or 4 games. So we got 2 against Carlisle in the last game, and 1 against Gillingham. Since he came back from a serious injury, now he's ex-Arsenal. Spent a lot of time on loan at a lot of different clubs, but I think he settled at Colchester, and he unfortunately sustained a really bad injury in August and has been out of action until Boxing Day. So him coming back has really proved a bit of a spark for Colchester, and I think his dynamic kind of attacking play could lead the Peterborough defence into many more problems here. So results have been picking up of late. So it's 4 wins in 6, and they're normally good for at least 1 goal. They've only failed to score twice in 13 away league games this year. So they're normally good for at least 1 goal. And I think that the state of this Peterborough defence that's been absolutely horrific of late. They're involved in a 5-4 last Saturday, and they've been involved in plenty of high-scoring games. A lot of which they've come off them the wrong end of late. I don't think it's one to go mad on. I won't be putting the house on this bet, but I think Colchester are overpriced at 3-1 to score twice against a Peterborough team that have, as I say, conceded 22 goals in their last 9 games. Peterborough are a really short price, so the double chance market, if you're more akin to that kind of bet. But I think 3-1 here on Colchester is a good bet in League 1. So we'll move on to League 2. And Fleetwood, Mickey Mellon's men, home to York in League 2 this weekend. Fleetwood, you may have seen them on TV recently. They drew 0-0 against Scunny in a TV game, which was kind of pitted the top 2 of the automatic promotion contenders against each other. They missed a penalty late in that game, which is a big down point. But since the turn of the year, they have really brought about a change in their form, particularly goal scoring wise, and I think now is the time to side with them as they host a York team which are a little susceptible to conceding goals of late. So in 2014, Fleetwood have played 5, won 4, drawn 1, and that was against Scunthorpe, as I said, the 0-0 draw, and scored 2 or more in all 4 of those wins that they managed to get. So when they win, they tend to win well. They tend to score plenty of goals as well. John Parkin and David Ball have been amongst the goals, and they're consistent goal scorers. So provided they can keep those 2 fit and sustain that automatic promotion challenge, I think they'll go up this year. They have been very good at home, so they've scored 2 or more in 8 of the 14 home games, including against every single side they've hosted in the bottom 8. So they're not afraid of these sides coming in who are a little bit lower down the table, and they're more than capable normally of putting them away. They beat York 2-0 away in the reverse fixture, so they've already beaten them away this year. So coming back to Fleetwood, hopefully they should be able to put them away again and score 2 in the process. So it's back-to-back defeats for York against Hartlepool and Chesterfield after quite a solid run, to be fair, but the away form is the major issue for Gary Mills's men. So their record on the road this year reads played 15, won 2, and that's against the bottom 2 clubs, bear that in mind. Drawn 6, lost 7. They've conceded 2 in 9 of those 15 games, so they're not strangers either to having a few defensive woes on the road. And considering the only 2 sides they've beaten are the bottom 2 in the division, this I think could be another tough away day. What makes their form more worrying is the fact that they've only played 2 of the current top 6 away, so they've got some really tough games coming up in the last quarter of the season, starting with Fleetwood on Saturday. For me, the home side have enough of firepower. They can score 2 at home consistently enough for me to consider backing them here at the prices available. They're 10-11 to score 2 or more in this game, and I think that's plenty of value. So in summary, we've got Brentford to score 2 or more at 17 to 20. We've got Colchester to score 2 or more, a lower stakes bet, but at 3 to 1, I think it's worth a look on a smaller stakes basis. And Fleetwood to score 2 or more at 10 to 11. Thanks, guys, and good luck if you're getting involved this week.